I see.
No, they definitely could not hear us because the mic was turned all the way down for some reason.
Oh.
I don't know how they said we're like. Yeah, they said they couldn't hear us. I don't know how they knew Tom wasn't there.
Whoa, it's Mark. Ohio gozaimasu.
Try one more time to make the camera work. It didn't work. Okay.
What a shame. It's the one time we're both wearing the shirt.
I know, we're both on brand. We can't get the fucking camera to work.
Yeah. I wish Tom was here. Ha ha.
We all do. Tom is in New York City. Don't really know why.
Pie spicy salts.
What was he like? I'm not staying if Tom's not here.
Yeah.
He's lying. He'll fucking be there. Don't even lie.
I know.
What the hell else were you gonna do tonight? You already set aside time. I will get started momentarily, but I have to change the Twitch info. We were running up. We would have been ahead of schedule today, but as usual,
there were
technical
difficulties.
Right.
GEIST means ghost in German.
That's because you play as a ghost.
Whoa.
You can see right here in this cutscene, this guy gets his fucking soul extracted from his fucking body. It's crazy shit. Alright, here, I'll hand this to you if you want to formulate a tweet. I saved an image already that you can throw in there.
Wow.
Alright. We're playing a game called GEIST. I don't know almost anything about this game. But what I do know is that I was on the Wikipedia page for Metroid Prime. And
well, you're signed into your Twitter.
Just sign out and...
I could just do it on my phone.
Why? It would be faster on the laptop.
How would it be faster? I don't even know the password.
You don't have to. It'll be on the list. It'll be on a drop down.
I don't believe you. I don't believe this shit.
You just sign out, and then when you
You're gonna let me use my PR skills to the test. To formulate a really cheesy tweet.
I'm a fucking white boy! So, yeah, we couldn't get the camera to work. Apologies. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with it.
Tazzle Spudge is subbed with Twitch Prime.
We'd probably have to restart the computer or something. I Am Games is a fucking nightmare setup. It seemed like Tom had been... Because I thought for sure I would just plug and play because I was like, oh, we're gonna do another GameCube on Wii. I'll just fucking plug and go. But Tom had changed the setup because he was recording footage of him playing Splatoon. I think Tom is like feeling guilty about the fact that I Am Games has been nothing but podcasts, and so he's like tepidly trying to convince himself to actually edit his Splatoon video. Because Tom is terrible at cost-benefit analysis. No, it's not that he's bad at it, it's just that he can easily be convinced to do something if he feels guilty. Whereas I can't, because I feel no guilt. But anyway, so I beat Metroid Prime off camera, finally, after fucking, how long? 16 years or so that I've been playing that game. Yep. I hadn't realized how far into it I'd gotten, because like, whoa, dude's looking right at me. Time for an equipment check. Okay. Whoa. Alright, ill. The map functions similarly to Metroid Prime. So this game is, on the Metroid Prime Wikipedia page, it was talking about, like, the influence of the game, and it said something about this game being similar. This was published by Nintendo, so it's technically a Nintendo IP, I think. they probably have the rights to it. I don't think there was ever a sequel. I don't know if it just wasn't successful. But so far it looks just like Metroid Prime. Like, the graphical similarities are hilarious. You know, obviously I can't speak for the gameplay yet. There's a lot of cutscenes. It's about time! Is that LL Cool J? Specifically LL Cool J in Deep Blue Sea? This whole people look directly at you and talk to you thing is Mass Effect-esque and really hilarious. Oh, look at this. DDA. Pitch? I guess going up and down is called pitching. Scroll. Zoom. I guess this just is in my inventory. It's not a usable item.
This tweet is gonna suck.
What are you typing?
I'll wait until it's done.
Alright, well, don't forget to link the Twitch and
Where?
post the picture
I
of
will.
Geist. Those are the only important things.
It's Pantsu Party Season 2 coming back this season.
What is the fuck is going on with my little guy at the bottom?
He's a cutie.
Do you see this?
He's moving around.
Oh my god, is that permanent or is that just because I'm in a tutorial? Alright, well right away, I need to know if I can fucking uninvert the goddamn vertical look. You got Shade and Wraith. Wait, so one is move and strafe, and the other is look aim. Or you can make it so one is move and turn, and the other is tilt and strafe. Which I assume would make it more similar to Metroid Prime controls. I'm curious... Okay, yeah, definitely do not invert the fucking pitch. Okay. So, I thought this was just going to control like Metroid Prime, given that it was considered an influence, but it... Wait, what the fuck have I... Oh, I accidentally switched to that other control mode, didn't I? Yeah, I wanted normal. Alright, so this is just now regular first-person shooter controls. Check your objectives, sir. How do I check my objectives?
Control options, Shade, Victor, and Digi. Pick your poison.
Here we go. Retrieve viral data. It's my objective. Whoa. Oh, I can possess shit. That's all I have for you. Good luck. Try to stay focused, Raimi. The sooner we get going, the better. There's no jump. I want jump. We've got it under control, sir. This is a private facility. You have no business here.
This is sensitive material. Please don't touch anything.
It looks like we've raided this lab. Stand back, sir. They might be dangerous.
I looked up this game and it said that Miyamoto was the designer.
What?
Probably not. Probably not.
This is interesting. There's no music in this particular area. I guess I gotta talk to
Your
this
nasally voice sounds like Maddox. Thank you.
I'm Maddox.
I'm trying to think of something Maddox would say.
I headbutted this girl in the tits. That's how you break up with a girl.
That's a real...
Digi, is that your impersonation of the anime dub industry?
It was my... That was my Yu-Gi-Oh voices.
Yeah.
I'm a really big fan of doing
pretty
Yu-Gi-Oh
good.
voices.
Say goodbye to Exodia!
I need more water in my mouth to do a proper Weevil. Weevil is all about just like sloshing spit around your tongue.
That's fucking nasty.
Yeah, well, he sounds nasty. I need a drink. Will you give me a drink?
Do you want a water?
I guess.
I can go get you a soda.
I guess
if
I
you
can
want.
have some water.
I'm just looking up to see if Miyamoto made this game, and he definitely, surely has not.
You already got the tweet out, right?
Yeah.
I need you to be on chat duty.
I'm
'cause
on
I am
chat
currently
duty.
talking about
Can you do
nothing.
Kaiba or Pegasus?
Alright, Kaiba.
And this is
I
the
don't
tweet
think I
that
can do any
read.
more voices till I have a soda, because I need the right mouth texture. Beautiful. Get your ghost asses over here to the game
Is
stream.
your ghost ass?
Oh, ghost ass. It's a great tweet. Oh shit, stuff's happening. Great, you got the sample. I'm trying to simultaneously log back into my main account so I can retweet the tweet.
I can do it with my phone.
No, I want to do it.
We gotta hurry. Volk security is on our asses.
So the Twitter mobile app is a superior way to Twitter because you can have like fucking several accounts. You can just
But you have to
switch
look at
between
people's
them.
liked tweets.
I mean, how else are you gonna find other people to follow on Twitter?
I don't want to follow more people on Twitter.
I
guess I do,
consistently
but-
like trim my Twitter down because I only want to follow like 100 people at once. So
think
like
I
I will
follow,
just
like,
go
40
through and like
people.
delete people, and that has definitely caused bad
Oh,
blood
shit.
between people. Like, oh shit, you're not following me
Gotta
anymore,
go.
and it's like, yeah, because you fucking suck.
Yeah.
Because you're fucking tweeting shit that's like you're tweeting libcuck shit. I'm out of here.
These med packs. Oh shit, they're shooting the guys. Oh, this gunfire is slow as fuck. They're just like coming off of Metroid where you fire like fucking 10,000. This is nothing like Metroid Prime. The only similarity is the graphics. It doesn't even have auto aim.
Sorry to hear that Tom died. Yes, we're playing this game in honor of his sacrifice. He sacrificed himself.
This is it is not easy to have like precise aim on a GameCube controller, let me tell you what. I keep fucking pressing the B button expecting to jump.
There's a 7-minute Pokemon Direct tomorrow, guys. Gen 8 announcement much? I have a feeling that we're also gonna like, you know, have Gen 4 remakes soon.
You
But that
think so?
might just be me projecting.
Oh, that nigga got crushed. Gen 4 is Diamond and Pearl, right?
Yee.
Oh, that dude got gatted. It's time for adventure, Diamond and Pearl. We're gonna change the world. Pokemon. Pokemon. Man, my fucking guys are killing everybody before I can get to them. Fuck. The key to this game is get your reticle to somehow home in on the enemy's head and then fire the button once.
Alright, alright. After about 8 months of work, N-Space finished the prototype and sent it to Nintendo of America, from which it was sent to Nintendo. Nintendo latched onto the game, and it was decided N-Space and Nintendo would work together to develop the game. After 6 months, Possession was introduced in the game after some suggestion from Shigeru Miyamoto. So he did do shit, I guess.
I guess he suggested that they make it more than just a first-person
He did
shooter.
some shit. I'm trying to see if there's anything else about him in here. I cannot read. I'm retarded. As has been established in previous streams.
Yeah, Mark never learned to read.
Mark never went to school.
That's because Mark only spawned into existence when I Am Games began.
I read pretty well for like a, you know, a 2-year-old.
2 year?
Yeah, I
More like
age
a
twice as fast as a regular human.
So in 6 months, you've aged twice as fast and become 2 years old.
I'm not good at math either. Read pretty well for a boomer. Wait, is Mark a lolly? No, I'm a Shota. Get your pronouns right.
Are demi boys Shotas?
Yeah.
I'm currently wondering if like the other control scheme would make more sense.
Are you a demi boy?
No,
you were a lolly Shota.
I was a lolly Shota once, but I
once a demi boy, always a demi boy. Hey, my name's Mark. I'm 16 years old and I never learned to read. Round of applause. We're glad to have you.
Oh shit! So far this game has just been watching people die awesomely in cutscenes and then fumbling around with fucking really awkward, Jesus Christ.
Hell yeah. This is a promised Neverland.
This feels like, it laid the groundwork for Gears of War or something. Like, this is exactly what Gears of War cutscenes are like. Oh shit, this is a boss? Shoot her with the slow-ass pistol. I think I might only can shoot it when
If
it's
Mark
got a
is
red
2
mouth.
years old, then he ain't even a Zoomer. He's a new breed. Yeah, I think there's like a name for the new type of people. The new types. Let's see. Oh, they're Generation Alpha. I'm a fucking alpha.
Are we just going back to A? Is that how it's gonna work?
Alpha.
That is so annoying.
I'm an alpha demi boy.
I know I've probably gone on this rant before, but it really fucking spurns my autism that we went from, like, there was no named generations before the baby boomers, right? Like, as far as I know, that's the first time that we came up with a clever name for a generation.
Wait, I thought there was one before the, like, there was like the there was one for the Great Depression, there was like the grand old generation. There were ones before the baby boomers.
Okay.
That's
Either
just
way,
the only one that's like around still, I think.
The reason that they're called the boomers is because there was a boom of babies, right?
Yes.
Like, that's the idea, that for like 20 years after World War II, there was just a ludicrous number of children being born, and it expanded the population considerably. So that's the boomers. And then the next generation was referred to as Generation X because of just like the general attitude of the generation, I guess. But then when when it came time for their kids, they just decided to call them Generation Y, as if we're suddenly counting up. And then now they're calling the generation after that Generation Z. And I'm like, guys, stop it. Why are we doing this? What got us locked into?
Yeah, and
this...
now it's gonna be alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta,
why?
eta, theta,
Why are we
iota,
doing
kappa,
this?
lambda, mu, nu, zu,
It's so obnoxious.
Omicron, something.
And then you've got like, so now the Generation Z are being called Zoomers, which is funny, because it's just taking Boomer and making it into Zoomer. And then Gen Y was also known as Millennials, which I think is an even more popular term than Generation Y, which is why it's even more annoying that the next one is being called Generation Z. Because it's like, but we were, just call us Millennials and give them a new name!
Yeah, I think they all have, like, other names. Like, it says on the Wikipedia, Gen Z, also known as the Post-Millennials, or
That's
the
not a
Homeland
name!
Generation.
Homeland?
Yeah, or the...
The fuck does that mean? Because they don't leave home?
Plurals. The plurals.
Plurals?
The plurals.
How's it spelled?
It's spelled plurals.
Okay. That boss was a fucking bullet sponge.
But before the baby boomers, there was the silent generation, the greatest generation, the lost generation.
I've heard the term greatest generation before.
Yeah.
That was like the ones who fought in like whatever war, right? Are they the ones who fought in World War I?
veterans who fought in World War II, those who were born in 1901 through 1927, and came of age during the Great Depression. I had always heard the grand old generation.
I've heard greatest generation.
But, you know.
Just people blowing smoke up their own ass because they fought in the one war that kind of mattered.
So dismayed that I wasn't born into the coming beta generation. It's indeed sad.
Oh shit, I got shot. I got shot. Who the fuck is this guy? Looks like an edgelord. I've got a bullet in my fucking brain. I think we're at the opening cutscene part where you get your fucking soul extracted. I'm wondering if it'll change considerably once I am a fucking ghost. You do play this game primarily as a ghost. Or a poltergeist of some sort.
The Dracula generation.
The Jonas generation's got rings around their dicks.
That's a lyric from a Protest the Hero song. Hey, we got a cheer.
One for
Going
Going Ghost. The Ghost Squad.
Oh boy. Anything happening in Chatland?
I'm monitoring the chat.
Do people just not ask questions if they know I'm not reading the chat? Like, y'all know that whoever's reading it can just read the things out loud.
It's true. You can ask questions, but I may decide to ignore them in lieu of perverted comments.
Oh.
How are the podcasts going so far? He said doing, so... Oh, how are they doing?
They're doing good.
Alright.
They're doing good enough that it's upsetting.
You check your P.O. box?
Oh, I haven't yet, but I know that somebody just told me that they had sent us the Kashern movie, which I am excited to watch because I've still never seen it. The live action Kashern movie, which has a really cool visual aesthetic.
People just want to hear Tomo and Digi talk. Well, he's dead, so...
Yeah, Tomo ain't here. And
I can
playing
be Tom.
dice. Yeah.
I'm Tom. My back hurts.
Well, it'd be his leg that hurts probably now.
They both hurt.
Yeah.
But I couldn't comment about my
pain.
leg
Whoa.
because I didn't
There's
want
color. Whoa.
I don't want to be redundant.
This game just got way better. Also, I'm a fucking ghost. I'm on, like,
you know
a
what?
playground?
This game is so much better than modern games. They would never have anything like this in modern games. Look at this color. Look at that. This is too good.
Whoa, what the fuck?
Look at those geometric shapes.
Does that make me faster?
Oh, look.
I'm coming right now.
Wait, I gotta go eat that bunny.
And then I have to get really mad at nothing.
I can't hear the cutscene for the most part, but it sounded like she said, "Oh look, a beautiful animal. Go suck out its fucking brains." I became a rabbit. Oh my god!
Oh shit, you possessed
oh shit,
it.
I fucking accidentally exited.
I want to possess a cute little ghost.
Cute little bunny. I can jump now!
Very good. Now try leaving the animal and exploring.
What is what's going on?
Tom's taste to games is similar to Gaming Brits, judging by the last podcast.
Yes, I've been following Gaming Brit for a very long time, and Tom only found out about him recently and just like binged all of his videos in one go.
Reload your weapon.
What the fuck is happening? This game is way too much story for my tastes.
Can we get Tom's ghost to possess Mark? I don't know about that.
I thought
think
Tom was
he would
gonna
have
be
to
here,
do that.
goddammit. Like, He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to New York for a couple days." He didn't say anything about not being here for I Am Games.
I mean, he said he'd be gone for a couple of days and he left like 2 days ago, so I just figured he wouldn't be here.
See, when Tom's not here, we usually can't end up fucking up the setup, as you can see by the fact that we do not have camera, and B, we don't gain any goddamn subscribers. People mostly subscribe because they want to give money to Tom, even though he will still get the money either way.
Yes, but if you subscribe while I'm here, he'll also get the money.
It's true.
And I don't get any of it, so don't worry too much about Dad. Better with no cameras, it's like Game Grumps. I can imagine everyone is naked. We're both actually wearing the I Am Game shirts right now.
Right, that's the sad part.
Yeah.
I actually
We
don't...
went out in public wearing matching I Am Game shirts. That's how excited we were to do games.
It seems like there's some people who... Like, there's definitely some people who prefer if we didn't have cameras, and other people who demand the cameras.
You know,
but, they are pretty pointless.
The camera is shit that you guys have. It's not like you, like, are in a particularly well-lit angle, or, like, you know, you're focusing it on your face. It's just kind of there to prove that Tom and Digi are actually there.
I mean, the main point of it initially was so we could advertise our t-shirts, but then we weren't selling any shirts, so we stopped bothering.
Did Digi go to Walmart today? We did go to Walmart in the 1 hour we were awake before the stream.
Yes, we woke up at 5 via alarm, and then went straight to Subway, which is inside of Walmart. What the fuck am I doing right now? Am I just like what is up with the oh whoa.
A lot of the people are just like, I'm indifferent about the camera. One person's like, I prefer cameras. Subway is a bad choice. I mean, it's...
What did we have time for?
Yeah. It's fine if you know what you're getting. I mean, it's cheaper than the other subs available to us.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I mean, there's no other cheap subs in our area.
He said unless you get a meatball sub.
That's what dude, thank you. I'm glad somebody agrees. Literally the only thing I get at Subway is the meatball sub. Because it's the only thing I think that they can do well.
Yep. I always just get a turkey sub with no cheese and banana peppers. And lettuce and tomato. Because it's very easy to count how many calories is in it.
Reward. Look at how it even shows, like, me as the game down there. That's really funny.
What is your favorite food?
Alright, now I'm a paint can.
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food? I don't know anymore. Like, you've changed my feelings about it. Because, I guess Mark cooks for me every day. And
the real reason you keep me around.
Oh, am I gonna become this explosive and just blow up? Whoa. This game is interesting, for sure. I can float. But yeah, because of the fact that I've been eating so much like better food, it's hard to say what's like my favorite, because it's like there's like a whole list of foods that I had no experience with that now I love, and I don't know what I like the most because I haven't had any of them enough times. It's like when you make shrimp pasta, it's really fucking incredible. When you make minestrone soup, or your burgers are probably like my favorite burgers. So it's like there's a lot of shit that has like now potential. I mean, generally my go-to answer, other than of course the Kona Grill flatbread, is macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been asked this question every day of my entire life. I don't know if they were asking that as a meme
I don't know. I think they were just, you know,
I don't know if they just thought I was
asking it.
gonna say Kona Grill.
I just fucking love food, and if I had to pick a favorite food, it'd probably be like toast with peanut butter on it. But like, I just love food, you know.
I love food. I gotta say, after listening to so much How Are These podcasts, I feel like talking about food is terrible entertainment.
No,
and I'm really gonna harsh on
agree,
myself.
but you know, everybody does like it. It's something we
Yeah.
all like experience in our day to day, and
But if I don't have anything like interesting or unique to say about it, then it's like, why am I talking about this?
yeah, I mean, some people really like to talk about how they hate food, like they're anti-food.
It's true. I don't understand those people.
You know, I think that's just like an interesting take, and it makes for
What the fuck is
like,
going on?
you know, kind of interesting discussion at first, but then it's like, well, you're a psychopath. Like,
Possess a human host. Can I possess this guy? I mean, you'd think I'd be able to, but it's not giving me a fucking...
Digit, how do I talk to somebody with ADHD?
Like, what is the issue you're having talking to them? Is it that they don't pay attention? The answer is give up. Just try to make... Because my dad has really bad ADHD. He will just... If there's a slight lull in the conversation, he will start checking his phone. And he's not capable of paying attention to more than one thing at the same time. Like, he's only capable of, you know, he's very one-track minded, but he, you know, but he, like, what he's paying attention to drifts constantly. So basically, when I want to talk to my dad, I just make sure I have fully prepared what I want to tell him, and then just, like, do it all in one concentrated burst. And, you know, as soon as the conversation starts to slow down and I realize that he's checked out, I just leave the room.
Yeah. In my personal experience, just make them drink
How do I
until they
reverse this
stop
fire?
talking, and then you have them captive. And then you can talk to them. But, you know, don't try to talk to people with ADHD who can't control it. It's not going to be a good time.
You're going to have a bad time.
At I Am Games, what's the next
do I
thing we should
do?
be hyped for?
Oh, Sekiro, probably, if we're talking about games. It's coming soon.
Whatever new Pokemon game they're going to announce in the Pokemon
I guess,
Direct.
when is that, tomorrow?
Probably.
So yeah,
I remember they were like teasing like Valentine's Day they were gonna
Can I-
unveil
can I
some
float
kind of knowledge or
up
something,
higher?
but I guess they decided to wait till
what
the
the
end
fuck
of
am I
February.
doing? Ah! Well, this is the most Metroid Prime-esque part of this game so far. Being confused about what the hell is going on. Where the fuck do I go? How do I fucking possess this guy? That clearly seems to be what I'm supposed to be doing, is possessing this guy. But it's not letting me do it. I'm pressing all of the buttons. There's also this weird trash can, but I can't do anything with it. It just makes my vision red when I'm on top. Do I have to be standing here to possess him? Is that what's... No?
It's fucking weird. Maybe he doesn't have a soul. Is there something else you can possess?
No, I've already clicked on everything. Is it this weird mist? Is this related?
Does he have to be scared first?
Oh, well, that might be what it is. Well, what am I supposed to... I mean, I would guess I would scare him with this trash can, but I can't do anything with it. I
Somebody
can't
says to
interact
check
with it.
the wall in front of him.
Check the wall in front of him? There's nothing there. I mean, there was this. Oh. Oh, of course. I forgot that you have to look... It's really weird. When you go up to something and click on it, it's like you're analyzing it, and then after you've done that, then you can possess it. I don't really understand.
Fucking
Okay, so I'm
weird.
guessing that now I have to do this trash bin thing, right?
Have you seen the new Detective Pikachu trailer?
No. I did not know there was a new Detective Pikachu trailer. I have not much interest in Detective Pikachu because it looks terrible. IMO. I think it's gonna be a success because it seems like most people were okay with the trailer. Like, it didn't get any backlash the way that, like, other...
Like the Sonic one?
Like the Aladdin one. Was
Oh,
there actually
shit.
a trailer for the Sonic
No,
one?
just the promo art.
The Sonic looks like a baffling, like, why in the fuck would they even think this was a good idea?
Explode the phone.
Explode the phone? I can explode it? I guess I just had to scare him again. What? How did I make that happen? Oh, that girl possessed him. Oh, he rejected her.
I hear it's got Mewtwo, but I'm scared to watch it because Mewtwo is my boy, and I'll be so sad if he doesn't look perfect. I saw this like side-by-side picture of like Mewtwo and Kim Kardashian, and it was like, yeah, what? Mewtwo is Kim Kardashian.
What?
She has those thighs.
Does she really have thighs the size of Mewtwo's fucking thighs?
I guess.
Oh, I can haul ass. This guy can haul ass. Are they saying that they're fucking... There's like alarms going off, but everybody's just standing around doing their work. And I'm guessing I'm not gonna need this guy anymore, since he doesn't even have a gun.
Hashtag kick Vic. Hashtag punch Todd.
Punch Todd.
Who's Todd?
I assume Todd Habercorn. He was the other guy who had the run-in with the cosplay slut.
Your daddy and your brother.
It is funny, yeah. My dad's name is Todd and my brother's name is Vic.
May, one is the Nuzlocke episode 2. Oh boy, we have some really sad news. The save file corrupted or
deleted. They're just, it didn't save. We'll put it that way.
This is what my idea is. We should do a randomized Nuzlocke when we do it again, because I've played the game a bunch, and you know,
what does
usually
randomized mean?
Well, it means that instead of when you go on a route and it's like, oh, you're gonna get Pidgey or Rattata, it's like you can get any Pokemon. The numbers for the Pokemon that appear are randomized, so like the enemy trainer will also have like, you know, randomized Pokemon, so it's less about like being able to pre-plan and more about...
Is this like a different game?
No, you can do it with the same game. You just have to put in a cheat code and you can do it.
A cheat code?
We're using an emulator or an actual cartridge. An emulator. And the annoying thing
is...
an
actual cartridge?
Yeah,
has anyone ever done a Nuzlocke on an actual cartridge?
We saved both like on the actual emulator and then did a save state, but it didn't work. So it's really sad.
Yeah. I don't know how it got fucked up. My theory is that it had saved a like .sav to the desktop and I deleted it. But the weird thing is that we did, like, I ran an experiment of doing that, but it was still saved when we got back. I literally don't know what the hell happened, like what went wrong.
Yeah, dude, you can do it on a cartridge if you have an action replay. Well, we don't got no action replay.
Yeah.
I'm eating a pomelo. Do you like citrus fruit?
I guess as much as whatever.
Never had a
else.
pomelo. I've seen them before. I'm not that into citrus fruit. I like lemons and limes, I guess.
I don't really eat fruit much, except for when you cut up apples.
And when I put them in smoothies, because we eat fruit every day.
Yeah, well, the smoothies just pass through me. I don't really think of it as food.
But it's like, you know, it's a lot of fruit that you're eating. It's usually like 1 banana and like 2 cups of fruit.
I guess I'm one of those guys who's gotten tricked into eating fruit.
Yeah. I don't really like fruit that much, but you know, you figure out ways to like it.
I'm tired of this game. I'm going to switch to
Alright.
a different game. This shit.
Mangoes are the best. I love
This game is interesting. I just don't. It's like I just want to shoot shit, and I was expecting it to be more Metroid-esque, considering that it was like compared to Metroid. But it's nothing in any way similar to Metroid Prime. Oh god.
What are your opinions on hot wings? They're my favorite food. I've had really bad hot wings before. Like, my college dorm would always have wing night, like, Tuesday nights or some shit. And everybody'd be like, oh shit, it's wing night, we gotta go. You gotta use one of your meal tickets on late night. And you go, and it's like, this fucking tastes like cat puke. I like boneless wings, I guess. I like spicy food.
Should we play GameCube or N64?
They can be bad. GameCube.
But all I have is Metroid Prime 1 and 2 and Geist.
What do you have on the 64 that works?
That works? I don't know.
Mark, ask May if she likes avocado toast. Yes, May loves avocado toast because she's a basic whore.
If Bomberman 64 works, then that's what I want to play.
Oh shit, Bomberman 64. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Alright, we gotta change the stream info.
Tetris 99. Did Tom leave this thing here?
The Switch is here.
Shit, I'm gonna play that because he's not here. I love Tetris 99. I'm like obsessed with it. What's the absolute worst school food you've had for both of you? One time in elementary school, I ate one of the hot dogs they had, and it was it tasted like ass, and it was square, and I didn't understand how the hot dog could be square. So, what's the worst food you've ever had at school?
I had a like the burgers would sometimes have green in them.
Ew!
And the chicken sometimes had maggots in it.
And maggots?
Yeah.
That's really fucking bad. Yeah, like, I remember one time having a grilled cheese sandwich, but the cheese had, like, been burnt and crusted over on the inside. And it was, like, really fucking gross. No, the actual, like, hot dog itself was, like, rectangular.
Uh-oh, is this actually working?
It's pretty fucking bad. Probably not. Probably not. Because, like, the emulator is kind of shit.
It looks like it's working.
Does it?
Kind of.
I fucking love this game.
I do too, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to play it because well, back to the old drawing board.
Did you get a PSP?
Listen how beautiful this music is that we're not gonna get to hear. Oh, it actually did go to the menu somehow. I don't know how to quit ROM.
I don't know either.
Oops,
What games for the 64 actually work?
I have no idea.
Because I remember, like, the ones that we played, a lot of them had problems.
Yeah.
What happened? The emulator for the 64 is bad.
Yeah.
You can play Punch-Out.
We got Punch-Out. We got Kirby Superstar.
Let's watch Netflix.
I also have Smash Melee. If you want to fight me in Smash.
Wow. Do I want to be humiliated?
Do you think you'll be humiliated?
Yeah. I've only beaten you like one time. Digi, don't get a PSP. I fell for the meme and realized that I could get everything
Why
the
would
PSP
I want a
has
PSP?
more if I got a PS Vita.
I don't want either
You can
one.
play a PSP every game on your phone on an emulator, and it's like more convenient.
I got Metroid Prime 2, Smash Melee, and Geist.
What do you guys think we should play? I'm willing
I
to
already
play
beat Metroid
Melee.
Prime. I've played an hour of
I just
Metroid
cannot,
Prime 2, and so far I hate
read
it.
chat. Dude, we play tanks is legit fire.
Oh, fuck it, we'll do Metroid Prime 2.
Prime 2, Prime, Melee, Domestic Abuse Sim. In parentheses, Smash. Prime 2. Play Max Payne 3. Smash Ultimate. Pikmin.
We've not gotten a single subscriber this whole stream so
No,
far.
we got one in the beginning.
Did we?
Yeah.
No. I don't remember hearing the notification.
No fucking fortune cookie. I'm sorry. Go man.
Hey, there we go.
When you
Pity
bitch,
sub.
somebody will sub.
Who is
Tommaso Choco Taco.
it? Hey, it's probably like his 6th month, right?
It just says just subbed with Twitch Prime. Maybe it because I'm not on your account, I can't see it.
I think it's just because it's Prime.
it says 8 months.
6 months. I got it right here. If you want to use this. Hey, now we got
Whoa.
J Fitz 117.
It's the J-Wits has subbed.
The J-Wits. Alright, so I played 40 minutes so far. So I beat Metroid Prime, and it was sick. It was very frustrating though. But it's one of those games that I kind of want to do a podcast about the phrase "get good," semi defending it, because it's a phrase that a lot of people hate. It drives people insane that people just say, "Ugh, get good and you'll like the game." But I do think that the reason that people say that, it comes from like people who have gotten good at a game, who appreciate that like certain games are just more fun once you're good at them. And like I think a lot of people consider that to be a quality of a great game. But I think that, you know, how much fun it is to get good at a game is also important. It's a difficult argument because like it's going to be different for everybody, but like Metroid Prime 1 is a game that is pretty difficult, and navigating the world like the first time, you might feel like you're getting lost or like you're having to do a lot of backtracking, but you don't necessarily have to do that if you're playing through the game like a second time. And like playing Metroid Prime 2, what little of it I've played, has made me appreciate Metroid Prime 1 even more. I love Metroid Prime 1, but you know, my frustrations with it are deep-seated after, you know, 16 years it took me to muster up the courage to actually beat. But so far, I do not like this game at all. This game feels like a very watered-down, like, overly straightforward version of it that was just trying to be difficult. It's kind of like the Dark Souls 2 of Metroid Prime, but, like, it's never been... It's like, it was really well reviewed when it came out. It seems like a lot of people consider it the best Metroid Prime game. So, I don't know, maybe there's a lot to it I haven't explored yet or something. But, like, game design-wise, it is nowhere near as interesting as Metroid Prime. And it really feels like it was designed around being a pain in the ass. Like, it seems as though... like they were not thinking about how do we make this game the most fun. They were thinking how do we make it the biggest pain in the fucking ass. Because I know that they said their mentality with it was that they wanted to make it hard. Like they thought that, you know, people had already trained themselves playing the first game, so the second game was going to be a difficulty spike. But like, I'm fine with the difficulty of like combat, you know, being higher or whatever, but it's that just exploration, everything is just like you have to really scour the fucking area to find like a panel that's hidden for no reason other than just to be more of a pain. Like Metroid Prime 1, it felt like you go into a room and it's just tasking you to remember everything that's at your disposal. Like, hey, don't forget you've got 4 visors and 5 different gun types, and like, you know, just be aware of all the ways that you could progress. In this game, it's like, where the fuck is the panel I need to shoot? Oh, it was tucked into a crevice in the wall where it would be as difficult to spot as humanly possible. I see.
Yeah.
And then it's like that every time.
A little.
I want to go back to the save room. Where was it? Did they block it off?
Does Digi equate interesting with good?
On some level, yes. I actually really like in Japan, they don't really talk about things in terms of good or bad. They mostly talk about it in terms of interesting or uninteresting. Like, they say omoshiroi, which means interesting, can also mean fun. But like, generally, if somebody asks you if a movie, like, if you went and saw a movie, then you wouldn't say, oh, it was good, or oh, it was bad. You would say, oh, it was interesting, or oh, it was uninteresting. And okay, see, here's another example of me missing the thing I needed. I just don't understand why I had to scan a thing. Like, what does it add to the game for me to have to constantly scan shit and activate platforms that could just already be ready for me? And you have to do it constantly. Like, every fucking room you gotta scan something, and then there's usually a little cutscene that plays afterwards that is totally unnecessary. There's fuckloads of cutscenes in this game in general. I don't understand why. Like, they tried to make it more story-driven, but mostly it's just a lot of little fucking cutscenes that are annoying. And now there's dialogue, which I never really wanted.
Nope. Nobody wanted that. I think an important factor in Get Good is that you recognize your own fault as the reason for failure. I don't want to get good in games that just feel cheap.
Yeah. I just, like, I appreciate that the sentiment that those people are trying to get across is like, hey, if you're not having fun with the game, then you need to, you know, try to get better at it. Like, rethink what you're doing, you know. And, like, I think a lot of those people, they feel as though part of why they enjoy the game is that they overcame being bad at it, you know. Like, everybody starts off bad, but then you get good, and then you realize what depth is there lying underneath, you know. That you can only find if you get good. But at the same time, yeah, like most Sonic games, I think, are a lot more fun if you get good, but I don't think the process of getting good at Sonic is fun.
No, it's not.
It's just frustrating. So another thing about this game is that scanning is very different. Because scanning is like, instead of just seeing like a panel that you scan, it's like you scan a whole object. And so when you're in scan mode, it's like everything is suddenly colored like this. And like, if it's blue, that means you haven't scanned it. If it's green, it means you have. And if it's red, that means it's like important. Or like has lore. But like, I don't know, it really makes the scanning feel like way too big a part of the game. Like in Metroid, in Metroid Prime 1, it was like kind of optional. It was like you don't really need to scan everything all the time, but you do it because you, you know. I can't talk about what's happening right now.
I put a bra on for you people. It was a mistake. The camera wasn't even working.
Yeah.
So I had to remove it.
Oh boy. Anything happening in Chatland?
Nope.
Ask me questions.
Does Digi miss arguing with Vic on Digibros?
Not in particular. I mean, it's not like more fun than doing a show with you is.
You know, I feel the same way about my siblings. I don't miss getting into stupid, pointless arguments with them.
Right.
It's better to have, you know, people who, you know, just for your own sake.
It's
like,
nice to have somebody who agrees with you
Yeah.
on most things. People are always like, you guys just agree on everything. It's like, yeah, that's why we're fucking dating. Like, that's why we're engaged. Because we tend to see eye to eye on most things.
How do I watch Rinshi Koda-chan? I don't see it on Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll? My boy. Let me tell you about the secret of typing watch and then the name of a show into Google.
You'll find it.
Which is how you should do everything. But yeah, I mean, it's on twist.moe, which is what I've been mostly using to watch anime as of late. Oh, I'm back in a place.
Bras are a meme that needs to die.
Agreed.
You know, sometimes I wear a bra because I don't want my nipples to literally poke through every shirt that I own.
Yeah.
But as soon as I get home, that shit comes off. They are hella uncomfortable. But, you know.
Jesus, with the constant cutscenes. Like, what did I need that cutscene for?
I don't really understand what purpose they serve. Like...
What, bras or cutscenes?
Bras. Cutscenes obviously are to further the narrative and give you a chance to adjust to a new mechanic or gameplay style, or to break up the monotony of playing something, or just to show off graphics. But
No,
you know, bras don't have that. Digi, do you miss Virginia Beach?
Kinda. I mean, I miss the weather. And not, like, that's not a sentence a lot of people from Virginia Beach would say, because it's not like the weather there is incredible. But when you live in the north, Virginia Beach seems like a tropical fucking paradise.
It is. Like...
Compared to here...
I don't know, man. Like... When we even went down to Virginia Beach last year for New Year's, it was like...
It was humid as fuck, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like toasty. I could like wear a dress.
Yeah.
That shit don't happen. There's also a fucking beautiful beach. I like Virginia Beach better than, you know, the Boston beaches.
Well, yeah. It's fucking Boston. It's not known for its beaches.
It's just like really humid and not beautiful, and I don't, you know... I still like things about Boston, but like, I'd rather live in Virginia Beach than like live comfortably.
Yeah. I don't know if that guy knew that we are currently talking about moving back to Virginia Beach when he asked that question.
I don't know. He did say, "Did you when you move back to Virginia Beach, will you buy the famous tea again?"
Famous tea?
I don't know.
I don't remember famous tea.
Boston has sick history, though. Yes, it does.
Who gives a shit? You can read about that in a book. Why do I need to go look at it?
Yeah, it's like, it's fun to appreciate, but like, actually living in an old-ass house sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, we live in history.
Our house is like
100
plus years old, and it sucks. Like...
This is where it came from, right?
It sucks having oil heating.
Hashtag fuck Boston.
Does Digi use autism to describe socially contradicting individuals?
Socially contradicting individuals? What? I use autism to describe that turn of phrase.
Oh, society contradicting individuals, which makes even less sense. Like,
I'm guessing you mean people who are.
I'm sorry, I know I read it wrong.
society.
I cannot read. I'm only 2 years old.
No. I use autism to describe autism. Is that Tom?
I am games.
What the hell? Where were you?
You are not games.
Yeah.
I'm late. These are opinions.
Did you think you'd be here by 6?
Traffic was really bad, dude.
I
got
bet.
fucking
Yeah.
raped by traffic and added like an hour plus to my time.
Everybody's like,
You were
Tone.
trying to just barely make it, weren't you?
Yeah, I was fucking
You can sit here if you
gunning
want.
it.
You had time to get a pizza though, unless that's from before.
Yeah, I got it earlier. It's probably cold as fuck.
We could not get the camera working,
What?
and
One of those?
yeah, it's one of those days.
Look, I'm so games. I got game fuel.
Whoa,
shit.
you actually do have game fuel.
I do. They look at this weird cap they put on it.
Hey, we got a subscriber just from you going
Yeah,
back.
they're coming.
Woo! Stacking that paper, putting Patron in my cup. By Patron, I mean game fuel. Are we done with this? Have we beaten this game yet?
I beat Metroid Prime 1. This is Metroid Prime 2.
Isn't it weird?
I hate it, dude.
Okay, good. 'Cause
I really hate
I
it.
didn't like it either.
Like any of it?
Well, it's just like it's Metroid Prime made more annoying.
Right. That's the thing. Like, so I'm really shocked because this game got like great reviews at the time.
It did.
There's a lot of people who consider it to be better than the first game, but like, it's just obnoxious.
The
like,
core mechanic is infuriating.
I haven't even gotten to the point where you like switch beams or anything.
Oh,
I'm
you're
like,
fucked.
I'm like 50 minutes in, but like,
You know what's great, dude?
what?
Ammo in a Metroid game.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, it's funny. I haven't been playing this for the whole show. Initially, I was playing GEIST. Have you ever heard of GEIST?
I have heard the guys.
It's fascinating. Ultimately, I was not having enough fun with it to want to keep playing. I feel like it would open up more later, but like in GEIST, it like starts off as just like a regular ass first person shooter, but then you become a ghost and like you just possess shit.
Right.
It's mostly used for like adventure game style puzzle solving, though. I don't know. I kind of got sick of it, but this game is just like. It just feels like it was designed around being aggravating.
Yeah.
Like, every single room, there's some, like, hidden shit for you to scan that, like, makes you progress. And you're always just, like... I feel like I'm constantly, like, where do I fucking go? Like, every single time I'm like, where do I go? And then I figure out where to go, and it's, like, some obscure hidden bullshit, you know? It's like, oh, there was a morph ball hole in, like, the farthest corner of the room where you couldn't possibly see it. You know,
Just wait till you get to the light world, dark world sort of thing, because they're going to constantly be having that problem. But the solution is, oh, I have to go to the other world and like go halfway back to where I was.
oh god,
Because there's one door that's open now in the other world that's not in this one.
and it all just feels so like flat and toneless. Like they increase the amount. Like people say, oh yeah, it's more story focused. No, it's more cutscene driven. Like, the first game had tons of story. It just was in the background. It wasn't, like, shoved in your face.
Right.
This game, there's fucking cutscenes all the time. Like, every single time you open a fucking door, it's like, bling, 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 and then shows you, like, a whole in-depth fucking, here's the enemies you're about to fight. I'm like, just spawn them in. I don't care.
You know, it's not great.
It definitely makes me appreciate the first game even more. The first game was really fun. The fucking final boss was a huge fucking... I was about to tear my face off fighting that thing.
It was pretty intense.
Because it's like... The worst part about the final boss of Prime is that you have to go through that room to get to it. Where you have to like do this crazy ass platforming challenge where Metroids are fucking flying at you infinitely.
Yeah.
And so nailing that down is hard enough, and then the boss is like fucking 20 minutes long.
It's an endurance
Where
one.
the fuck do I go? There is no path. Maybe this door? Where does this lead to? This is just like a small room that has no... Oh, this is where I got that energy tank.
Right.
So there's nothing in here.
Have we gone up over there yet?
Yeah, this is like
To
a
the
room
right.
I had been to before.
So
That
like
isn't...
across an air and shit?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it was just like a blocked off tunnel. Like, there's this. This is just a gate.
Alright.
And as far as I can tell, there's nothing to scan to open it. Unless it's fucking, again, tucked away in some
Eventually you
obscure
can go through
corner.
there.
So that door's not helpful. And then this one was... That's the one I was just in. This one was a blocked off... Oh wait, it's probably that little rope. There's probably a morph ball fucking tunnel that I missed. Even the music is... This music is not nearly as good as any music in Prime 1. Yeah, okay. It's just a little morph ball hole that I did not see.
Like, this game tries to make this, like, kind of, like, oppressive atmosphere. Just sounds depressing.
But it looks like it's way more brightly colored than the first game. Like, the first game had much stronger art design. Because this just feels like I'm in a bunch of tunnels. Like, every room just feels like a straight linear tunnel. The first game felt like it was an actual world that, like, existed beyond the confines of what you were looking at, you know?
Sure.
This looks like I'm in Doom 2016. Like, it just looks like a combat hole, you know? Which is fine in that game because it's a combat game. But this is supposed to be an adventure game. So why do I not feel like I'm on an adventure?
What's the chat saying?
I have no idea.
Let's see.
As soon as you showed
I
up,
got
Mark
Birdman.
just completely was like, yoink, I'm gone.
They don't want me.
Oh.
Oh no, turn it off. Come back.
You were the hero they needed, but not the one they deserved.
It's true.
Did you, what happened to the spacing the rants out throughout the month? I don't know what they're talking about. Assuming the Patreon rants.
I mean, who's asking?
I don't know. I just already spoke about it.
Oh. Because Jalen Harris asked me that in my Discord, and I'm like, are you asking
Oh,
again? Because
God.
I already answered you.
Mad Hyena, what do you think of this fetch quest at the end of Prime 1 and 2? The one at the end of Prime 2 is so bad I dropped the game. Just like, I really don't feel like
Oh,
doing
back
it.
at the start. Okay, the thing about Metroid Prime 1 is that you can pick up the artifacts throughout the game.
Right, the Prime 1 one wasn't that bad. Because it wasn't super esoteric and shit. But the one in Prime 2 is so much more annoying. Because they're all over the place. And even if you've gone to those areas before, you still have to go back again. Because you actually have to go find these landmarks you've already stumbled across. But using an item you get later, go to the Dark Worlds and find a cache hidden in that room somewhere that you have to scan. So it's going to all these secret places you've already stumbled upon, but you have to do them again with an item. So it just feels like busy work.
I gotta say, I'm probably going to play through Metroid Prime 1 again before I do a video about it. Because, like, a lot of my perception of it, I thought it was a much longer game. Like, it's not very long. You could probably beat it in, I mean, I know if you speedrun it, you could probably beat it in, like, 5 hours. But, like, I could probably beat it in, like, 8 hours. Oh, does this always happen when you look at this hole? You just automatically jump down for the cutscene? Why? Why would that be the case? I didn't want to go down there. I just wanted to look down there. Oh, that is so fucking bad and annoying. But anyways, with Metroid Prime 1, like, I had gotten up to the mines before, and like when I played last time I had played it, trying to beat it was when I played all the Metroid games, and I had gotten up to the mines, and I could not beat that gauntlet that we did on the previous stream. After doing that, like, I just kind of thought I was, like, halfway through the game at that point. Because your percentage is still hella low if you're not, like, collecting tons and tons of shit,
Sure.
which I wasn't. So, like, looking at that low-ass percentage, I was just like, oh, there must be, like, a whole half a game left. But there's really not. It's, like, the Phazon Mines are basically the last level. Like, it's one gauntlet of going deeper and deeper into this place. And so, like, once I got to the boss of the Phazon Mines, who was really fucking hard and took me a number of tries, and I eventually had to go and, like, collect more energy tanks in order to beat it. So, like, and I had been really afraid because I was like, I don't want to go all the fucking way back out of these mines, because I kind of had the mindset that I didn't want to go and try to explore and find more items until I had all the power-ups. Because, like, you constantly find yourself in rooms where you're like, oh, well, I'm probably going to need the fire thing, or I'm probably going to need this or that. And so, like, you don't want to have to just keep going back and forth and back and forth. But then once I realized that the game was, like, that I was basically at the end of the game by the time I'm fighting that boss, it was like, okay. Like, because after that it's just find all the artifacts, fight Ridley, fight Metroid Prime. So, like, knowing that, it makes me feel more inclined to go back and try to get all the stuff, like, on the way to that boss, or even just after that boss, and, like, I know, basically I know when are the right times to go exploring, in a way that I didn't before. And I also just hadn't realized how much fucking secret shit there is. I mean, you 100%ed the game, so you know. But there's a lot of fucking missile expansions and health packs and shit.
A lot of shit. Dude, as weird as Metroid Prime 2 is, I started playing Metroid Prime 3. Have you ever played Prime 3 before?
No, I know it's very different.
The beginning is the most surreal thing in the history of games.
Really?
Because you just, you're in your ship, and then you just land on a Federation cruiser, and you just walk around a, like, non-violent area and talk to, like, officers.
Yeah, I know about that.
And get missions and meet characters, and I'm just like,
what the fuck is happening? Yeah.
Halo 3 I'm playing or something.
I feel like that playing this game. Like, there's characters that talk to you, and there's like a bunch of named Federation soldiers, and like...
Right. But, like, they're alive, and, like, you have to go talk to your boss, and he gives you an assignment, and you meet other bounty hunters that, like, you're gonna, like, encounter throughout the game. And it's just like, I don't hate this. This is just such a not expected tone shift.
Yeah.
It's like, this is like kind of like, I've always assumed this happened like, an hour before the game starts.
Yeah.
But now I'm just playing it.
It was very surreal.
It's very weird. It's kind of cool, but it's very weird. I didn't play through it long enough to know if the game was actually any good, because...
I'm just really shocked by how different this game is from the first game, because I really thought, from the way that people talk about Metroid Prime, like, everybody always says how, like, radically different the third game is, and I'm sure a lot of that is also because it was on Wii. But, like, I just kind of assumed that Metroid Prime 2 was just Metroid Prime 1 again, but harder. But no, the game design feels completely fucking different. Like, I don't think it even really resembles Metroid Prime 1.
Yeah, I mean, the raw mechanics and stuff are all there, but they're going for something pretty different. And in my opinion, very annoying.
I mean, I honestly think that they don't want to admit this, but this is the result of the too short of a development cycle. Because they had to make this game in like a year, and they made the decision that they didn't want to recycle the assets from the first game. They wanted to build it like fresh and try to make something more hardcore. And I just think they probably didn't have time to fucking play test it. Because then, like, they were, if you read the, all I've read is the Wikipedia. I haven't heard like any detailed explanations or anything, but like, it says that they were given like a very strict deadline of like a year to make this game, and it's like,
seems like such a bad idea,
right? And they were like, well, we didn't want, like, they're like, oh yeah, we didn't want to, like, basically the way that it seemed that they had explained it is that they rebuilt all the assets because of the fact that they were like, oh, Nintendo doesn't just squeeze out yearly releases, like, that's not their MO. But it's like, but that's what they asked you to do.
Right.
Like, if they asked you to do it in a year, then why did you approach it like you were making a Nintendo game, which usually takes 3 or 4 years? Like, I think Nintendo intended for you to put out just another one, I
appreciate the desire to have more integrity. The problem is,
don't try to do that on a fucking strict time limit when you can't test everything to make sure it's actually fun, But then the game was a huge success and like critically acclaimed and beloved by a lot of fans. So like,
yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know if it's just that nobody's. I don't know. I don't know if it's just because you and I are in a unique position playing these games so many years later and not having.
It's very
like,
possible. We don't have the hype kind of against us right now. But I just found this game to be kind of frustrating.
I was shocked. Like, I was very immediately put off by this game. Like, the first area... Because, like, the tutorial level in Metroid Prime is so fucking memorable. Like, the environmental storytelling is so good. It's such an interesting location. Like, there's a huge variety in, like, the types of rooms that you're exploring. And in this game, you start off in a series of tunnels. And, like, you're just... The only enemies you fight are, like, zombified... soldiers, you know, what is it called? UNSC? No, that's fucking Halo. What the hell are the Federation guys called? Just Federation guys?
I think so. They're just called the Federation.
Yeah. It's like, it just felt so bland and like not nearly the spark of originality from the first game, which left me wondering like, what the fuck? Also, this is really annoying. So, missile doors are red and have a cage over them. The reason this was very confusing is that the room where you get the missiles, first of all, you don't even get them from like, literally you're in this big ass room where there's all kinds of shit going on, and there's just this one like crate that you have to blow up with a charge blast, and inside of that is just a missile expansion pack, like a regular ass missile expansion pack, and that's how you get your first missiles. So in that room, there are two doors that are gated. One of them's yellow and one of them's red. I initially went and tried to missile the yellow door, thinking yellow corresponds to the color of beam that I have. But that door did not open. So then I ran around the room for a while wondering what the fuck I was supposed to do. But it turns out that the red door was the one I was supposed to shoot with the missile, and it just turns into a blue door.
Right.
Remember how in the first game... a missile door was just a blue door with a cage on it because you knew that you were going to have a red weapon later? And then in the second game, after you've had the experience of having a red weapon from the first game, it just like, what was the sense there? They didn't think about it.
I wonder if we would have been having that issue if we had actually played this, you know, like not immediately following Prime 1 and like having all those inclinations still in our minds. Like if there had been some space between that, it might have been more obvious.
I mean, I think that if I don't know how game designers really approach things like that. Like, do they think of it as everyone who plays this is going to have played Metroid Prime 1 a year ago?
I don't think so. I think it's one of those things that like any game designer is going to try and make things as universally applicable as possible. You know, just because like you have to kind of, you know, you're making a mass market product, so you have to kind of design for the lowest common denominator, or the lowest common denominator in your target market is whatever you're trying to court with your product. So I think assuming any prior experience is probably shooting yourself in the foot.
This is another case where I've been tricked by my expectations from the first game. I just thought, oh, save room, and then left. But it's like, no, this is actually a...
Yeah, you can keep going in here.
It's actually a room. Whoa, I'm fighting the sands.
I'm just going to take you back to where you were before. Can't remember, though. No, I'm mistaken.
I assume that letting the sand take me might have done that.
Maybe.
How do I get? How do I get? How do I get?
I think you need to go as more fall somewhere else.
Beep, 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 beep. Gotta energize a bomb slot to open the gate, but I don't got bombs. Well, anything happening in Chatlandia?
I hated Undertale, says CapX, did you boy?
That's... What was the relevance of that? Where did it come from?
Someone just said Sans in all capital letters.
Oh, I see.
Did you had any good McDonald's lately? That's a spicy sauce question.
Had any good McDonald's lately? I have not.
Doesn't seem like it's even possible.
Had a surprisingly good Subway today.
Yeah.
The key, I figured out that the optimal Subway order, and I'm not gonna tease you with this for 6 months like Manimal. The optimal Subway order is, well, really the bread doesn't matter. I usually get white Italian just because that's what I like. But you get the meatball sub because it's the only thing that they can make right. With provolone cheese, toasted, with jalapenos, and you know, the Parmesan sprinkle cheese. The jalapenos are the key. Because the meatball sub is fine, but the jalapenos give it so much more flavor.
Interesting. Yeah, the meatball sub's always a safe thing to go with Subway because it's so simple. It's hard for them to fuck it up.
Right.
So it's like the only sub that doesn't need to be at least deluxe to become like actually worth a shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you get a turkey club. It's like here's 3 slices of turkey across a foot-long sub. It's like,
Yeah, I mean,
fucked.
when I get the meatball sub foot-long, that's 2 meals for me. You know.
See, the thing that I'm so sad about is back at my
do I
parents'
fucking need
place,
to do?
we have a Subway, but right next door we have a place called Garden Pizza, and it's just like every pizza place here. They have everything,
Right.
and they have sub combos that like are cheaper than Subway, because when Subway first came in, they started trying to crush this business with the $5 footlongs. So Garden just started doing $5 sub combos, and they just never got rid of them. Then Subway raised their prices, so now nobody goes to Subway because you get a sub that's twice as big, twice as meat filled, and cheaper.
That's a
Subway.
beautiful story.
Yeah, they really.
I
just
wish that was
stuck it
true
to them.
where we are.
Yeah.
Because in our neighborhood, all of the sub places are fucking $10 for a goddamn sub.
Yeah, no, you can go there. You get a
Maybe
$5 foot-long sub. That's just like double meat by default. It's amazing.
Okay, so clearly going there, I can't do shit. But wasn't this like the only path I... No, you know what? I'm not in that... Oh, oops. I forgot I was not still in that room I had been stuck in earlier before I came into this save point. It's really weird. Like, on the one hand, I feel as though one of my biggest complaints about Metroid Prime 1 was the amount of vertical platforming.
Sure.
And now I miss it. Because this game is so flat. Like, there's very little verticality to it. And, like, the verticality is a big part of what made the first game feel so alive. Because it felt like you were navigating something that naturally existed almost. And it just meant you spent more time in certain locations to, you know, feel more connected to them. I mean, like, I think that the first game went too far with precision platforming. Like, I would prefer that it just have not been so, like, so obnoxious to fall down a long fucking shaft, you know?
Sure.
But I do miss the verticality overall. Sonic detection gear needed.
Yeah, I need an upgrade for that. You can go like up, keep going up, eventually.
Oh, I kind of got like.
Oh,
Well, that doesn't do anything for me.
that ain't how it's gonna be done.
Nope. What do I do? Where do I go?
It's bad conveyance.
It's constantly like that. But it's not even that it's bad conveyance, it's deliberately obtuse conveyance. Like, the whole game is just trying to constantly be like it's trying to be confusing. It's trying to get you lost. Huh?
Yeah, like pillar, I don't know if that gets knocked down or something. God, it's been so long since I played this, I don't fucking remember anything about this other than...
How do I get to the fucking...
It's annoying.
Yeah, these goddamn... Looks like there's a morph ball track maybe over where the T is.
Tom has the same
There's some
gaming
kind
taste as Gaming Brit, maybe.
Somebody already said that earlier.
Digi, the room with the worm has a rock you can knock over with a rocket.
The room with what?
The worm.
This is the room with the worm, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, they might have said that a while ago because I'm sure the stream's a couple minutes behind where we actually are. So yeah, I think that pillar, you might be able to shoot it with
Oh
this
yeah,
launcher.
I think you're right. Yeah, how did I miss? How did I miss the scan?
I don't know, I can do it, I think.
What the fuck? Let's read it again. Brimstone object at critical. Oh, do I just have to shoot it a bunch of times?
No, like the stupid thing about this is that it doesn't tell you what item will destroy things. It just tells you what the element is, and you have to know the element relationship. I think brimstone might be bombs, and then there's another element that means missiles are strong against it. It's really dumb.
That was technically true in the first game too, but it was usually just obvious what you had to use. I got some more missiles. I think I might have just had to shoot it from the back precisely.
Is NYC cool?
Yeah, what the hell were you doing in New York?
Just hang on that.
What do you like? When you go there, is it like actually like downtown New York City or like?
No, I mean he's in New York State. We were in Poughkeepsie. That's where his new apartment is. Oh,
Okay, I just had to shoot it precisely from the back. That's fun. It's just like, why? Why make it that way? Why make it so you have to shoot it from a specific place? The first game never did that shit.
I don't know. There's another one over there you can knock over.
Get them boys.
Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate.
I tried so hard.
Good luck.
I'm just amazed that, like, as frustrating as the first game could be, I always felt like the urge to try again. Like, you know, even after so many years, like, I have given up on the game previously, but, like, every time I'm like, oh, you know what, I've gotten better at games, I'm a little bit older, like, maybe I'll give Metroid Prime another shot until I finally beat it. But this game, I just don't, every time I get annoyed, I'm just like, can I stop? Like,
You haven't even gotten really annoyed yet. You don't know what's coming.
it's just because there's nothing that's been, like, nothing takes my breath away. Like, in the first game, like, I might get lost in Phendrana or something, but the music is so good that it's like, I could hang out here all day, you know, like,
Sure.
or just the visuals of the environments. Like, this game has so far been, like, brown. That was one, like, I found, because there were videos, there's, like, videos on YouTube that are like, oh, this game's like a forgotten masterpiece and shit like that, or like why it was the ideal sequel to Metroid Prime. I haven't watched them yet, but I was reading through the comments, and it did seem like there's a lot more disagreement about this game's quality than you would expect, but nobody's come out and nobody's come out and analyzed it, you know? And like one person was like, oh yeah, you know, I didn't really like Metroid Prime 2 just because it's very brown. And I was like, that sounds like to me a perfect example of a tangible detail. Of like, you know you don't like it and you're searching for a reason, and so the reason you come up with is that it's very brown. But it's not the brownness that's the problem. But the brownness is symptomatic of the problem. And the problem is that the art design's not that great, and the level design's not that
said that
great.
some guy named Some Call Me Johnny agrees with our stance on Prime 2. So I guess there are people
I've heard
who are
that
just,
name
like,
before, but I don't
being
know
fucked.
who they are. I don't know, it just seems really rushed to me. It really reminds me of Dark Souls 2.
Person of Guy subscribed with Twitch Prime for the 3rd month
Hey,
in a row, and they just
Person of Guy?
Person of Guy,
Never heard
and they
that.
just say simply games,
That's the
which
way
I
to
can
be.
agree with.
Yeah, we can all agree with that statement. No political agenda there, just simply games.
This game definitely hasn't had universally positive reception over the years. Most people cite the Dark World and beam mechanics. I would agree both of those are a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, that like I think this is a game where there's a lot that's obviously frustrating, and that like as a first-time player, you're likely to have a certain amount of patience with it in the beginning because you're just like, all right, it's Metroid Prime 2. Like, hey, I'm playing the game. It's a video game. That's cool, you know? And then, like, when you get to the really frustrating bits, it's like, that's more noticeable. But for me, it was just like, right off the bat, like, man, this does not feel like that other game. And I'm sure part of that is because it took me so long to beat Metroid Prime 1, and, like, I've watched other people play it. I've got a ton of experience with that game. Like, if I had experienced this game when I was younger, I probably would have more nostalgic affection for it, you know? And, like, I can admit that the first game, like, you know, I do have nostalgia for, but, like...
Oh, eventually you can go through where you just stopped. I don't know if you can open it up yet or not, though. So eventually you can go around this whole place in the Morphball. You can eventually break those.
Now here I go again, everything is alien. By the way, Tom, I was talking about possibly doing a podcast on the phrase "get good,"
Okay.
in which I will be kind of defending it.
Sure.
How do you feel about the phrase "get good"?
I think it's solid advice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean...
Because I know we've talked on...
I get frustrated because I feel like games should be fun from the get-go, but I also understand that get good makes sense because a lot of the times games aren't fun from the get-go just because I'm not good enough.
That's kind of how I feel. Like, when I played Metroid Prime 1, like, I had a lot of frustrating moments, and I was like, if I talk about this game, like... When you're writing a consumer review of a game, then it's like, I understand why you want to fixate on, like, what it's going to be like for as many people as possible. But if we're talking about a game in the long run and, like, its legacy, the only people who are really going to care about it are the people who've like, really explored it, you know? And I think that the case can be made that just because getting good at a game makes it more fun doesn't necessarily make it a good game. But, like... in some cases, being good at it will just radically change the experience, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like Metroid Prime is one such case where it's like, if you know the game and you're not going to be, like, worried about getting lost or, you know, not fully understanding the combat mechanics, like, it really will be a much different experience.
I mean,
that's
every
probably
game
a
gets
lot
more fun the better you are at it, right?
I don't know.
I think so.
I think there are some games that, like, if they don't have enough challenge in them, then they get boring if you're too good, you know? Like in those games where, like, you just find an optimal... Like, I would even say... Like in Pokemon, if you over-level your main and just steamroll the whole game, then it's just a game about pressing the A button over
I don't know if that's
again,
getting better
know?
at the game, though, in the way I'm referring to. Like, having a better understanding of the game, not necessarily, like, over-leveling.
This is why we need to do a podcast about it. We've found some interesting angles already that we can talk about.
There you go. You clear those rooms out now.
I wanted to do it because initially, that looked like a health pickup, and then it just, like, disappeared.
You're not allowed, dude.
But, yeah, like, when I was considering starting to write for a video about Metroid Prime, I was like, do I want to address, like, do I want to complain about the things that are frustrating about the game when, like, a lot of people don't care, you know? Like, is it worthwhile to write a video in 2018 that's like, oh, Metroid Prime has a lot of frustrating moments? It's like, well, yeah, but, like, we've moved past that, you know? This is not a consumer review. Those existed at the time. It's a legacy analysis. Not that I don't think I could acknowledge it, but... Then I just thought, why not do a separate video about that? About the differences between playing Metroid for the... Because, like, almost everybody who has a problem with Metroid, their problem is like, oh, I get lost and I have to backtrack all the time. And it's like, yeah, that really doesn't feel like so much of a problem when you've played through it a few times.
Yeah, like the little blue thing in front of it.
Oh, of course. Beep-dee-dee. I want to eat the rest of my sub.
I have to activate a thing in here. Put that thing here. Yeah.
It's a spooky ghost boy. He looks kind of like Soul Reaver. Oh, fuck.
Welcome, I am Isha, sentinel of the Agon Temple.
I don't care.
He's gonna tell you what to do, I think.
Oh, I'm gonna go to the Dark World.
Yeah, isn't that great? Oh, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but in the Dark World, if you're not standing in certain areas, you constantly take damage.
I do remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
The reason I never got this game when I was younger is that all I had read about it was that it was incredibly difficult, that ammo conservation was a huge pain in the ass, and that you get hurt constantly in the Dark World. And I went, well, that sounds boring or too hard. But, like, it would get rave reviews, so I simultaneously felt like it sounds like a pain, but, you know, maybe one day when I'm good enough.
The Dark World is the Dark Souls of Metroid.
Energy fully replenished. Yay! Alright,
God.
where's my Dark World portal?
Damn monster.
I really feel like in Metroid Prime 1, the levels, or each room was like designed in a way that naturally guided you to where you needed to go.
These rooms that you're in right now, you have to get an artifact and bring them in there, and that turns the power back on and claims another section back for the light world.
Sounds like Mortal Kombat shit.
Yeah. I wish it was that cool. How important is replayability in games? People often defend Dark Souls 2 by saying it's more post-game content, and thus more replayable than other Souls games. But if the base game experience is not fun, then does that really matter? I'm going to say, of course it doesn't matter. Having a lot of unfun things to do
Right.
does not a good game make.
I fully agree. I mean, I think that the people who feel that way do not have this... The problem with talking about Dark Souls 2 is that people who like Dark Souls 2 are just not bothered by the things that bother people who don't like it. Like,
Yeah.
to me, the controls feel like dog shit in Dark Souls 2. And that is too baseline of a problem to have any easy resolution to, you know? It's like, if it just feels like shit to play, then I don't want to play it. I don't care how much content's in it. Like, most of the complaints about Dark Souls 2 have been more about the level design or about the cheapness and stuff like that. And that stuff's all bothersome, but, like, the fucking... the animations are... There's no, what's the word? Like, squash and stretch or, like momentum?
Anticipation and follow-through.
Yeah, like, everything is smooth. Everything is, like, exact same amount of, like, frames for everything, you know? So, like, it's just, like, when you're running, for instance, like, it doesn't look like your character's running. It looks like they're gliding. And, like, that kind of shit drives me fucking crazy. It doesn't seem to bother most people. So, like, I understand why people have, like, much bigger fish to fry with that game. But for me, it's like, the baseline is always the most important thing, you know? I can play games that don't really have, like, incredible design if the baseline is fun. But, you know, I do not feel that way about Dark Souls 2. And it's, like... It's the kind of thing where when you start talking about animations, a lot of people are like, who the fuck cares? You keep talking about stuff that doesn't... You keep talking about nitpicks, like the animations. I'm like, buddy, that's the only thing that matters to me. Like, that is the most important part, by far.
I mean, the animation's really what establishes a lot of the game feel, you know?
Yeah. And the animations of Dark Souls 2 are ass. But I do, and I appreciate that if you play it enough, you might just like get used to the way it feels and just not even be bothered by it, even if you did think it looked like ass, you know?
Sure.
But I've never been willing to play enough to get to that point. Okay, so that's where I was just at. I'm guessing I gotta go back into this tunnel.
There's a couple doors you might be able to get into here.
I mean, I know that there's like tons of shit from before that I could bomb now. So I'm thinking I probably gotta bomb some shit. Like this tunnel had a little
Yeah, you can get in there.
spot. Bling, 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 bling. Oh, energy tank. Well, that's cool. Not what I was expecting. I still have the music from the first game stuck in my head while I'm playing the sequel.
Corporable game field just seems like too vague of a thing to really use as a real term. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, it can mean a lot of things, granted.
Yeah, it's a pretty broad category. I mean, it's like saying the aesthetic, you know? Like, aesthetic is made up of a lot of components, but you understand what I mean when I say...
I think game feel is just a broad term, but when you're talking about the game feel of a certain game, it narrows itself down just by necessity significantly. Like, the game feel of Metroid is obviously movement and shooting and being able to interact with the world, whereas game feel of Devil May Cry would be how hits feel and shit like that.
I mean, if you feel that game feel is too broad of a term, there is always Campster's suggested alternative, kinesthetics.
It's true.
Which I am a big fan of. But the problem with using the word kinesthetics is that you have to explain it every single time because nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about.
What is kinesthetics? It's like the game feel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I used to be very particular. If you watch a lot of my older videos, like you'll see that I used to be like, I wanted to use the terminology that I liked, you know?
Sure.
So like you'll see a lot of me saying things like kinesthetics, or I'm trying to think of a better example in anime of like a term I used to use, but like at some point it's just like I care less about saying it perfectly and more about the audience knowing what the fuck I'm talking about. Because like when you read the responses to a video, you can often tell like whether or not people got it by what they fixate on out of what you said, you know? Like if people are fixated on like a weird part of your script that you don't consider to be the most interesting part, or the part that like should have generated the most conversation, it might mean that people didn't understand that part. I ran into that a lot back in the Pony days. I distinctly remember that the one that had gotten to me the most was the video suited for success. I think that was the season 4 episode, right?
No, that was a season 1 episode.
What was the one? What's Rarity Takes Manhattan? That's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
That episode, I had really enjoyed it, but I had like contentious feelings about it. It was like there was things I really loved about it, things I really didn't love about it, right?
Sure.
But the things I liked about it were really complex and more like of a heady explanation, and the things I didn't like were very easy to explain. So in the video, there's like the first like probably 4 minutes is me giving this really like kind of heady explanation of what I liked, and then I get into a part where I just kind of like bitch for 2 minutes about the thing I didn't like, and that's what all the comments were about. And it was driving me crazy because people were painting it as if I had disliked the episode. Like, people were getting really defensive about it and being like, but whatever, this and that. And I'm like, guys, I liked the episode. Like, what's going on here? And then I was just like, I don't think they understood. I think that they literally just blanked out the part where I was talking about the more complicated shit, you know?
Yeah.
So I now try to write in as much of a straightforward fashion as possible.
Gotta channel that Trump vocabulary.
Another big one was I was using the word textured a lot because Film Crit Hulk is a big proponent of using the word texture instead of style. And
Okay.
I think I started even writing a script about this recently, or talking about it in some way. But the reason is that like style, it's similar to the difference between game feel and kinesthetics. It's like when you say like, oh, this movie is style over substance, then it's like, well, what is the style? Like, style is substantive. So like, you know, if you say that something is style over substance, what you really mean is that it doesn't have a lot of like obvious plot, but like that it's not the same thing as style. Like, style can mean so many different things, whereas if you talk about a movie's texture, then it requires you to describe the texture, you know?
Sure.
Like, if you just say, oh, it's very stylized, it's like, well, in what way? That could mean a lot of different things. But if you say, oh, the movie has a blank texture, like it has a warm texture, or it has a rigid texture, then it's like, that tells me something about the film, you know? In a way that saying it's stylized doesn't. Oh, fuck. So for a while, I kept, like, saying, like, oh, it's, you know, a richly textured series and stuff like that. But then I realized nobody knew what the fuck I was talking about, so I stopped doing that. Or people will just ask, like, what the hell do you mean? And I'm like, well, what does it sound like I mean?
Critical thinking from YouTube commenters.
No,
You ask
not
too
gonna
much.
happen.
Unlike our Twitch chat, who are all very intelligent lads.
Surely.
I'll give you guys some credit.
I bet they already knew what kinesthetics meant.
Yeah. They seem like bright boys.
Not even from a video. They just knew from knowing the Latin root words.
Just from being worldly lads, knowing all their stuff. Here we go. It's a morph ball puzzle.
Hey.
Toya cheered for 200.
It was really cool that cheer happened right at the same moment that the beep 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 happened. That was legendary. I don't know if that'll come through in the chat the same way it did for us. That's right. I don't have the fucking not surf, but whatever the fuck it's called.
Toya's just gave us the bits. Like, is your Streamlabs working? I guess the answer is yes. Because I did get a notification for that.
Yes, the only thing that's not working is the camera for some reason.
CM98, Toya, please get drunk. Well,
everybody wants him to get drunk so that he can absolve them from their cheapness.
Yeah.
They want to feel good about us getting money without having to contribute money themselves.
I mean, that's fair.
It is fair. I mean, I feel the same way. I'm just letting Toya know that he's become a martyr.
Yeah. I feel like he knew that going in, though.
Maybe that's what he wants.
Possibly. Is it true that they wrote Metroid into a corner with Fusion? I don't think they really wrote it into a corner. I just think they just haven't gotten around to actually...
If anyone is
cool
concerned
shit.
about the writing in Metroid, they are fucking up completely. Metroid, the more dialogue or writing there is in the game, the less interested I am. Like, I want it to just be... I don't want there to be any text. I want to just be dropped into a world and figure it out, you know? Environmental storytelling is the fucking point. Which is why this game is so much lamer than the first one, because the environments don't... Like, there's a lot of text that tells me the story, but the actual visual present... Like, I mean, I talked about it in the... Tom, you weren't here for the first stream we did of Metroid Prime, but, like, when I was in the first level, I was talking about how, like, if you just look around, you see, like, a parasite queen that's dead and all these dead space pirates, and you're like, what the fuck happened here? And if you scan one of the panels, it's like, oh, one of 2 parasites has escaped. And you're like, oh shit, there must be another one. and then of course that's the first boss. And so like you know that's clever foreshadowing and environmental storytelling.
It's like that aesthetic subtext.
Yes, that's a good term that you coined there. Aesthetic subtext.
When you see shit like that, it means you gotta go to the dark world in order to use it. So this is where you're gonna start seeing puzzles requiring you to find a portal, go to the dark world, backtrack to the room you were in the dark world, do the thing, and then go back. Yeah, it's gonna be like that, my dude. Welcome to the meat and potatoes of this game's
that's how you make a longer game on a shorter time frame.
Yeah. I can make all new geometry by moving one thing around and changing the color to purple, and now you're in a different location. You were in the room where the portal opens. You have to open a portal in that room.
Well, I got a missile expansion.
It's fair.
Is this the room I was already in and I just missed the missile expansion before?
Yeah, you are going back the way you came from. But like, you gotta turn on...
the portal between Demon World and Human World had been sealed off. No. Okay. I don't know about you, Hokushin, but nothing gets on my nerves more than fingers around my dick. Now stand your ground.
I told you just cheered 1,000 bits.
Hey.
Pitter patter, boy.
Pitter patter.
Woo! It's happening. Damn. Maybe he was already drunk.
Maybe he's just pitter pattering, man.
You know.
He's just got his pitter patter going. Pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter. You can scan the fucking conveyor. That's okay. Like in Metroid Prime 1, I felt like scanning shit was mostly a way to learn about what was going on and occasionally to get hints if you were stuck. In this game, I feel like there is an expectation that you will scan everything to know what the fuck to do. And I don't like it. I don't like that scanning is such a major part of the game.
There's an orange thing on your map.
An orange?
There you go.
Oh, that was it? I just had to scan the thing.
Are you ready?
I sent a bomb to a computer expert. Evil world. Alright. So, Tom.
What up?
Do you have any need for more podcasts in your life?
I can always do more podcasts.
Alright, I got one for you that I've been listening to.
Alright.
It's called Who Are These Podcasts? And it's a guy listening to other shitty podcasts and making fun of them.
Oh,
And it's pretty enjoyable.
God, how long until he gets the I Am Games podcast?
I have no idea. He's I don't think he's as interested in games kind of stuff. It's an older guy. He's like in his 40s, and what's fascinating about the podcast, I found out about it because it's affiliated with Dick Show, because they did an episode on Dick Show, and at the time the dude had never heard of Dick, and like he basically has a revolving door of guests. I think originally it was him. It was like two guys who were like a permanent cast, but then one of them left. So the main dude, Carl, he'll bring in like, you know, different people for each episode. Shoot it.
You got not that one. Some of them have to be shot before they can activate. Like, see that thing out there?
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is terrible.
Yeah. Have fun.
I can't.
See, now you can go into that thing now because you're in
I'm in the same place. I didn't even realize I was in the same room.
Mm-hmm. They don't change the geometry much.
But yeah, so he'll bring in different people, and like there was one where they did the Dick Show, and he was like, even though they were ragging on it, because they always rag on everything, he was like, you know, I kind of liked this one. Like, I think I could actually listen to more of this, whereas the other guy hadn't liked it at all. Clearly, he ends up becoming a huge fan of the Dick Show, ends up being like a $25 patron and everything, and like following the whole narrative. And he was already a fan of Maddox, because apparently the guy was a marketing director at E-Bombs World back in the day.
Wow.
Because he works in marketing. So
He's a marketing director at E-Bombs World and he's in his 40s. God, that makes me feel old.
right? But yeah, so he's got like kind of connection to, you know, old internet. And so he is like, yeah, I've been a longtime fan of Maddox, but he hadn't been aware of the whole podcast. So he then went and listened to all of Biggest Problem and eventually started covering Best Debate. So now, of course, he's on the, you know, the fuck Maddox bandwagon. Right. But the interesting thing is that, are you familiar with Opie and Anthony?
I don't believe so.
It's a morning radio show that was really big throughout the 90s, and like it's basically like Howard Stern's show, but like the second biggest like shock jock radio kind of show after him. You know who Howard Stern is, right? Of course, yeah. So like this dude who runs the podcast is a huge fan of both Howard Stern and Opie and Anthony. He's like big into old daytime radio shit because he, you know, used to listen to all that. But like daytime radio is pretty much dead, and now it's a lot of those old radio hosts have podcasts now. Well, Opie and Anthony, who did an XM show, they had a similar sort of breakup to Biggest Problem.
No way.
But like not with like a lawsuit or anything, but just where one of them is like, because
one of them is clearly in the wrong publicly.
Right. Because the thing is that, like, it seems as though Anthony Cumia, who is the Anthony of the show, he's like, you know, like a legitimate great broadcaster. Opie is like a dipshit who he basically put on his show because he's a dipshit, kind of like a Carl Pilkington type of character.
All right.
But now that Opie's on his own, he's trying to do his own thing, and he's god-awful. Like, his podcast is possibly the worst podcast of all time.
For some reason, this reminds me of, like, Kenny versus Spenny.
Yeah, it's very similar. That's the vibe I got. I couldn't remember the name of that show, and I wasn't sure if you knew about it. But yeah, it's very similar to Spenny from Kenny versus Spenny. But the thing is that Opie's like a 60-year-old man.
Oh, God.
And he hangs out with all these, like, old-ass comedians who are not funny at all. And, like, the podcast is just, like, him, like, going to bars or, like, various... Like, he's always in some place, like a diner or something. Like, somewhere where recording quality is going to be dog shit.
Sure. In
New York City. And it's always him and, like, a bunch of other fucking old dudes just, like, having conversations. But they're all fucking... They're all, like, pig assholes. Like... They're always, like, perving on girls and just, like, talking about weird shit and just generally being, like...
Douchebags. Yeah,
they're just a bunch of douchebags, but, like, they're really old, so it's extra weird that they act the way they do. And so, how are these podcasts will do is that every episode they talk about a different podcast, but then they also will have a segment at the end where they check in on Opie Radio and make fun of the latest episode of Opie Radio, as well as now that he's a big fan of Biggest Problem and all that, he now also checks in on Maddox sometimes.
Oh, dear.
So you'll listen to him shit on some bad podcast, then you'll get your update on Opie, and then sometimes an update on Maddox as well. And it's pretty fucking fun.
Goddamn.
But yeah, it's
like your one-stop shop for all that crazy shit.
Yeah, it's definitely just a way to enjoy, you know, how bad most things are. But like, as somebody who makes a lot of podcasts, I also find myself confronted by a lot of things on the show where it's like, yeah, a lot of what he complains about in other shows is stuff that's true of my podcast as well, you know? And like, knowingly so, because we don't really put that much effort into the podcast that we do. Like, what's great about Who Are These Podcasts is that it's very highly produced. Like, it's got a lot of editing, it's got a lot of care put into it. They take tons of clips from the shows that they're talking about. So like, the format is basically that they'll introduce what the podcast is, and it's him and a host who have separately listened to it but have not discussed it beforehand. And they'll bring in like a bunch of clips that they feel exemplify, you know, what's so wrong with the podcast they're talking about. And it's pretty fucking hilarious listening to them react to the clips. But
it's pretty good. I'll have to check it out.
I would definitely say, like, start with the later ones, because the earlier podcasts, you know, they're less produced. They had a former co-host who didn't seem that interesting. Sometimes it really depends on who he has with him to make it, like, better or worse. Some of his guests are just not that interesting, but You know, and also like whether or not the podcast they're talking about is particularly hilarious. Like some of them are just really mundane, boring fuck podcasts where it's just like, oh god, why do these people need to have a podcast? Sometimes it's like these people are fucking insane. You know, sometimes you get some shit and you're like, man,
I need more of that in my life.
yeah.
I need more some crazy conspiracy theory podcasts.
Oh, they have a flat Earth one that they did. I haven't listened to
Jesus.
that one yet. They did the Alex Jones show.
Dude, you gotta watch the Alex Jones documentaries. They're so good.
But my favorite ones are the ones where like they have some context in history, like stuff like the Opie Radio or Maddox ones. They have a couple episodes where Dick Masterson's on. The first one they had him on is one where they talk about this podcast about like crazy cat people. Like it's called the Purr Cats, and it's just like a group of people who are like obsessed with collecting cats.
Oh.
So of course they come off as totally fucking insane.
Sure.
And then like they also did.
I mean, we don't have room to talk. Anybody who listens to the Horse Cast without context, I'm sure, can probably infer some bad things.
I mean, if you listen to the PCP, you'll probably think we're fucking insane.
I mean,
but, like,
you wouldn't be wrong.
But yeah, like PCP. I mean, I already know. There was a part of me that was like, oh man, what if he did PCP podcast? But then I was like, I already know what he would say. Like, he would rag on us for not having a formula, for talking over each other constantly, for all the reasons our own audience rags on the show. Because it's a clusterfuck and nobody's willing to put a ton of effort into it.
Oh, we're gonna have an editor soon, I guess, so maybe it'll finally start to change.
Do you think that the editor will like edit for content at all?
I don't know. We have 30 submissions we need to go through. Some of them did, some of them ignored all the things we even said to edit in the demo clip, so...
Well, those people are obviously not going to win.
Right. Are you having fun?
I'm fighting the Jump Guardian.
Yeah.
He's the guardian of all Shonen Jump magazines.
If you want to get your magazine published in Jump, you gotta talk to this guy.
Yeah, the fucking Jump Guardian. Oh boy.
Alright. Your light novel will now get a manga adaptation. You did it.
Excellent. In Jump? That's impressive.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's ever happened before. Oh, I guess that's the double jump boots. It's just a shoe with a
You
spring
can't get
on the
100%
bottom.
anymore.
I don't give a shit. Does scanning contribute to your percentage in Metroid Prime 1?
Possibly.
Because it didn't seem like it. I had like 70% complete at the end of the game, and I had not scanned that much shit. Nor did I have like nearly all the power-ups. But in this game, like when you scan shit, it literally tells you what percentage of shit you've scanned, which is, again, it's kind of too much information. It's like I don't need to constantly, like, that kind of takes you out of it a bit, you know? It makes it a little more gamey. It's like,
Sure.
why would I know what percentage of the world can be scanned, you know?
That's true. I suppose you gotta like juggle like what's helpful for like people trying to be completists for gameplay and immersion. You know.
I think the first game did a great job of that. I mean, I will say that because in most Metroid games, the only way you can check completion is on the startup screen. If they had added something to the start screen that had an overall, thing, I might be okay with that. Sure. Because, you know, there's also a picture of a fucking GameCube in the start screen, so it's not like immersion matters there. And you don't necessarily have to go into that part of the screen ever. You know, you can just ignore it. But like, oh, that's right, I have a double jump now.
Yeah. Oh, dude, someone just mentioned the PSP in the fucking comments, and now I just want a PSP again, because PSP was the coolest shit.
Yeah, they were talking about how they were like, you should get a PSP, dog.
Dude, I want a PSP 3000 again so bad, the only good one. The rest of the PSPs sucked.
What is the 3000? What was special about it?
It didn't have a screen that was ghosted. God, that was so annoying. as a kid, I was so upset when I got my PSP 1000. It's like the screen was all blurry and had like after images like a Game Boy Pocket. I'm like, we're beyond this. I can't believe this is real. I can't believe I just paid $250 for this screen. I was so mad.
Sounds like it. So am I done in Dark World? Do I just need to go back to Light World now?
You go back to Light World. Remember when you opened up the gate into Dark World?
Uh-huh.
It also opened up that same gate into Light World, so you can go through that part in Light World now.
So I'm guessing I just went to Dark World to get the double jump and then come back.
I believe so. But you'll be going back, believe me. Just gotta scan it to open it back up again.
Oh, Jesus. Why?
You gotta scan it every time, my dude.
Ugh. For what purpose?
So
Is
you
it a
don't
load
accidentally
screen or
walk through it.
something?
I don't know. They might have to load it, who knows.
How the fuck would I accidentally walk through?
Well, maybe they gotta actually like load it into memory or something, you know? And
I mean, I assume that's what this cutscene is for.
no, I'm telling you, I got a PSP and regret it now because the Vita can do the same things and more. I still want to get a PSP Go. It's on my bucket list. One of those things. There's a bunch of like failed handhelds I've always wanted to buy. Just because. Like the Tapwave Zodiac, I want to buy one of those one day.
The stupid Game Boy Pocket. Is that what it was called?
Which one?
The version of the GBA that had like part of the screen cut off because it like was it Game Boy Mini?
Wait, the Game Boy Micro?
It might be that.
The little tiny one?
Yeah, the one that was like the idea was that you could like stylize it.
Oh yeah, that was literally my favorite Game Boy. I had one and I loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was amazing.
I like
the buttons felt great.
Okay,
It was
because like
sick.
I had never bought one because I mean I already had an SP, but like
If you had an SP, there was no reason to get one. It was like functionally worse because it didn't play GBC games.
and it like didn't it have like part of the screen was cut off? Like it had the wrong. Sorry, I
No.
accidentally kicked you. In
It
the
absolutely
head.
did not have that. You could see the whole screen. The screen's just way smaller than an SP because the whole thing was
No, I read that the aspect ratio was different and that it fucked up certain games. Like it said that in Nintendo Power.
I've never heard of that.
That's bizarre.
And if that's the case, it never affected any of the games I had.
Well, shit. That was like the main reason that I was like averse to getting one because like what I had read was like, oh yeah, this is like a shittier version of the Game Boy Advance. And I was like, why the hell would you get that?
I don't know. I never had that issue. But, yeah, someone buy me a PSP, Tapwave Zodiac, N-Gage QD, my new daily driver cell phone. Unironically wanted an N-Gage QD back in the day.
I know about the N-Gage.
It's pretty cool.
It's got Tomb Raider.
It does. That blew my mind to shit as a little kid. I was like, what? I actually already have the Neo Geo Pocket Color. I tracked that down. That thing was fucking sick. Because it had Sonic. You could play Sonic on a handheld.
Wasn't that shit like ludicrously expensive at the time?
It wasn't that much more expensive than Game Boy Color. It was just hard to find because it failed so fast.
I know Neo Geo stuff, like whatever console.
Yeah, the
They
home
made-
console was super expensive. The Neo Geo Pocket Color was like a Game Boy Color, but like sideways instead of up down. It had a lot of fighting games. Can someone buy me a ThinkPad T420? Pretty please, dude. There's like $100 on eBay.
I farted.
What is the single worst year for games you can remember? Probably 2018. Like the whole industry got fucked pretty bad with bad business practices. Yeah, see, Kappa said 2018. We just had massive layoffs, even though there were record profits for all the big gaming companies because they didn't sell enough units.
I mean, what is the worst for actual games, though?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. They require a lot of research.
Yeah. I guess it would. Like, it's weird for me because...
Maybe like the first year the PS4 came out because there was nothing, or like the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, there was a huge drought for a while, and there's still nothing on Xbox, so like that first year must have sucked. Like, oh, I can play Rise, Son of Rome on my Xbox One. I can't wait. so fun.
It's hard for me whenever the conversation comes up because I have such particular tastes that there's only ever going to be a couple of games that I like in a year, if there are. So, like, for me, the difference between a great year and a bad year is, like, 1 and 0, you know?
Sure.
Like, there's not much of a gradation. Like, 2016 was a really good year for me because Doom and Dark Souls 3 came out, and, like, both of those are some of my favorite games. So as far as I'm concerned, 2016 was basically the best year in gaming history because there were 2 games I liked. But of course, I think that, you know, the 90s and 2000s, just the sheer amount of great games coming out, like, easily blasts anything since.
Yeah.
And, like, people talked about 2018 like it was this incredible year for games because, like, there were a number of good games that came out. So, like, yeah, it was a better than what we're used to year for games. But, like, if you were around at a time when great games were not something you had to wait for, then it's hard to, like, really overpraise the current year.
Would you say Dark Souls was influenced by Metroid Prime?
No. I would say that, like, I mean, maybe a little, but, like, only insofar as, like, all of them are influenced by Zelda, you know? Like, it's kind of funny when people talk about, like, Igavania games and calling them, like, Metroidvania because Iga himself was like, actually, I was trying to copy Zelda. Like, Zelda was the inspiration.
I think people just take it, like, too on the nose. They're just like, there's an interconnected map that has a, you know, squared rooms. They're the same.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, it's the most basic kind of, like,
I mean,
rudimentary
I definitely feel like Dark Souls takes deliberate influence from Castlevania.
Sure.
More so than Metroid.
Yeah. I just meant the term Metroidvania in general.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I can't talk about Dark Souls critically for obvious reasons. So is the game any better yet?
I mean, it's better in as much as, like, I've got the double jump now. There's been more, like the room with the morph ball ladders. It was like, hey, this is a thing. This kind of feels like Metroid Prime 1. But, I mean, I've been in the same fucking place forever. Like, this amount into the game, I would have already seen... Like, in the original, I would have already done the whole tutorial level in, like, 10 minutes. Then I would have landed on the planet in the, you know, the crash site. Then I would have gone to the Chozo Ruins. I probably would have beaten the Chozo Ruins by this point. And, like, all I've seen in this game is this one generic canyon.
There's, like, a thing on the ground.
A thing on the ground?
Yeah, like, in that room you're in. Turn around.
Okay.
There's, like, some way to get under it. Yeah.
There's no possible way I would have noticed that without having the scan visor on. Like, why would I assume that that's bombable?
I don't know.
It just looks...
I guess it is.
Like, I mean, I guess it's kind of cracked. I could see that being, like, a secret. You know? Shit. Oh, I remember seeing this section before. This is where you first fight Dark Samus, right?
Yeah, you're getting close to that.
Also, like, Dark Samus, what a fucking ripoff of the SAX.
Sure. Yeah. Very weird that they just kind of just did that again. I watched Matthew Matos's 3D Mario series today, and I totally get Digi's sentiment on covering a piece of media as a whole now. It's from Tazzle Spa.
It's weird. In my mind, I just kind of assume that everybody who watches me watches all the stuff I watch.
Yeah.
Like, I can't... Even though I know from the fact that... Like, the fact that it's so difficult to get my audience to care about I Am Games' adventure makes me think that, like, a lot of my audience doesn't really care about video games. Which is a shock to me because, like, most of what I watch is video game analysis videos.
Well, I think we're in a catch-22 right now. Everybody who wants the channel to, like, do well is like, please stop making podcasts and make more.
That's not entirely
videos.
true. There's a lot of people who love the podcast.
They do, but there's also a lot of people who are like, I'm unsubbing since you're not doing anything cool anymore.
We haven't lost any subscribers.
No, there are a few people in the comments who've said that they don't care anymore. So, I don't know. I'm the kind of person who's like, we should just be doing everything. It's my fault for being lazy that's not happening.
It has nothing to do with being lazy. There's just no profit, and it's not related to the thing you want to do with your life.
No.
It's like, we started the channel, like, everybody always wants everything to be as good as it can be, but it can't, you know? Like, I want it to be as good as it can be, but, like, it can't be that way. There's just not the possibility for it, you know? If there's other things that we have to worry about.
Kappa says your podcast is the only good video game podcast. I don't know if I believe that, but I appreciate the compliment.
I mean, I don't know any video game podcasts, so I can agree, I guess, in as much as I don't know the competition.
A person of the guy cheered 100 bits.
Hey.
$1 to the future of games, he says. Well, I appreciate your financial support.
Me too.
Your faith is noted and appreciated. I remember I used to listen to Giant Bomb podcast way back. I haven't listened to it in years. I think Giant Bomb went to shit, didn't they? And they kind of become the typical liberal gaming outlet, like along with everything else. Or am I thinking of Rock Paper Shotgun? Or maybe both, who knows?
Who the hell can tell the difference between all of them?
You know, you're not even wrong.
As Denzel Curry would said in a lyric, Donald Trump, Donald Duck, what the fuck is the difference?
Man, I just want to hear Donald Duck say "Make America Great Again" now.
God, why are these all unique?
You know you don't have to scan that, right?
I know, but why are there so many? Do I have to scan this one that happens to be red?
I don't know, dude.
Or will that just be lore? It's just lore. Oh, is that a dark portal?
Yeah,
I
you can open that up.
Didn't even realize.
You gotta scan it first, my dude.
Oh my god, why?
Oh, it's inactive. You gotta activate it first somehow.
What? What? How is it inactive? It looks like it's fucking there. It's fucking working.
I don't know.
Hey, what the fuck do I have to scan? I'm guessing it'll be red.
You might have to go to another room first.
Oh no.
It might be that way.
What? How long into this are we?
You've barely started.
What? No,
Oh, you
I
mean
meant
the
into the
stream?
stream.
Oh, we've been going for 2 hours and 22 minutes.
Alright, let's call it. I fucking am sick of this game.
Alright, I was gonna say, as far as in the game, like, you're not even close.
Yeah, I don't think I'm even close to a save point. I don't know if I care.
You're fucking using illegal emulators. Where's your save states? Come on.
I don't think you can do that on this.
What a shame.
Alright, everybody.
We did it.
See ya.
We made it happen. Games success. Be the games you want to see.